to my channel. So the video that I'm going to be doing today is going to be kind of like a tribute to the recent Brandy and Monica video that just came out, which was absolutely fabulous, might I add. But I can't take full credit for the idea. I have to thank my YouTube friend, JeanFrancoisCD. If you have not watched any of his videos, please, after you watch this video, of course, go on over to his channel and check him out. Amazingly fabulous artist. Products used in the video are going to be from a little vegan line that a lot of you may have heard of, Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics. First time trying them. So far, amazing. So you're going to be seeing me trying those out. That's all I got for you guys. Enjoy. Oh, one last thing. Don't ever be ashamed of who you are. Ever. And don't ever let anyone make you feel like less of a person for being yourself. Enjoy the tutorial. Start off with a clean face. The first step is going to be to moisturize. I'm going to be using Cetaphil's Oil Control Moisturizer. The next step is going to be adding foundation. I'm using Makeup Forever's HD Foundation. I actually have a sample size jar of it, but the shade I'm going to be using is 177. Then taking a beauty blender sponge and I'm blending that foundation out. And all I'm doing is just pushing onto the face gently and twisting that sponge to set that makeup into place. Make sure you get around the edges of your hairline, around the jawline. Next, fill in your brows. I'm using MAC's eyebrow pencil in Spiked. Then I'm going to take a brow brush out any of the harsh lines, and that's going to help us achieve more natural looking brow. Next, I'm using my Coastal Scents Camouflage Concealer Palette, and I'm using one of the shades underneath the brow to clean that area up and get a more sharper sculpted brow, is what I have to call it. I'm using a shade that is lighter than my complexion so that it acts like a brow bone highlight. And then I'm also going to take some concealer and put some of that on my eyelids to prep for the eye look I'm going to be doing. So for demonstrational purposes, I've already done this eye, and then I prepped underneath the concealer and finishing powder. So now I'm going to show you how I'm doing that on this side. For under the eyes, I'm using the Makeup Forever Lift Concealer. And I don't have my own shade, so what I did was I took number 3 and number 5 and I mixed them together. Next, I'm going to use a translucent powder underneath the eye while I do the shadow so we don't get any fallout. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I'm also going to highlight the face with just a little bit of that powder on the forehead. And down the center of my nose. And just below where I do contour, I'm also going to add some of that powder down there. Now that we have that protective highlight underneath the eye, I'm going to be using an eyeshadow base. This is the purple e.l.f. cream liner. I'm using this as an eyeshadow base. Next, I'm using a neutral yogurt colored eyeshadow. This is Bisque by MAC, and this is going to be the brow bone highlight. You want to use something that is matte and has little to no color, or is pretty neutral to your own complexion. Next, I used a mauve shimmery pigment. This is Smote by OCC. This is going all over my eyelid, inner and outer corner. I'm even adding that color a little bit higher than my crease. So it's pretty much an all over eyelid color. Then I took a blending brush along the edges of that and blended it out. Next, use a color that's comparable to your natural complexion. I'm using Saddle by MAC. In the video around the crease area, Monica has this kind of soft contoured look. So I'm using Saddle to get that same effect. And all I'm doing is just blending that color out in the crease. Next, I'm using a black kohl liner to line my top lash line. And instead of drawing the liner on, I'm actually pressing and flicking it. So there really shouldn't be any straight lines, and it should look kind of smudgy and smoky. And then I'm doing it more so once I get to the outer V, so I can get the lifted effect. I took a MAC 212 brush and I started to smudge and blend that liner out. Use a dark purple matte eyeshadow. This is Shadowy Lady by MAC. I'm also using a MAC's 226 tapered brush, something that's got a pointed angle and is going to let us really get into that outer V area. And I'm adding some of that color along that outer V and also blending that into the liner that we applied. Then along the edges of that, once again with that brown saddle eyeshadow color, I'm going to blend it out. Next, I'm using MAC's Chromographic Pencil in NC15 and lining the inner rim of my waterline. Next, I took an Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On pencil in Baked, or basically any gold eyeliner that you might have would work fine. And I'm lining my lower lash line, not to be confused with the waterline, which is where we applied that peach liner, but underneath that, directly underneath that. Next, I used a dark purple shimmery shadow. This is Nocturnal by MAC. This is going underneath my lower lash line. I chose to use gold liner underneath the purple. I just liked it because it was shimmery. You are welcome to use whatever you have. Next, I used another OCC pigment. This is Oberon. Basically, it looks white and it reflects pink purple. I popped a little bit of that color on my inner tear duct. Next, I took a set of red cherry lash. This is number 415. Instead of using the full strip, I've cut it into fours and I just use them as half lashes, and I pop them on the ends. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Add your favorite mascara. This is the one and only Maybelline's Lash Stiletto. Once the eyes are done, take a fluffy brush and brush off that excess finishing powder. Set your foundation for a powder. This is MAC's Mineralized Skin Finish in Deep Dark. The next step is to contour that face like you ain't never contoured before. This is Shadowy by MAC. For blush, I use NARS Dolce Vita. And for a cheekbone highlight, I use some of my I Am Glam. I'm putting a little concealer on my lips to mute them out and get a perfect nude lip. For the lips, Monica has on this really beautiful pink nude lip. So I'm going to start off by lining my lips with cork liner. Or any soft brown liner, I used Honey Love lipstick, which is a nude matte, very light pink. This is one of the OCC lip tars. The color is Tone. It's a very light lavender. And I'm applying very little, less than a drop of that on my lips. And a little bit of this stuff goes a long way, guys. Please don't learn the hard way. Take my word for it. Tiny bit. For shine, I'm going to put a clear lip gloss on top. And there is the completed look.